Part to the story, too, we're going to talk about, because it ties in Amy Broyles with this whole thing. We look at this whole issue with the superintendent. Chico weighing in on the text box, which is...
How is the good old text box doing?
We can't talk one HIPAA case, but we can talk about another? Boston Logic. That's right. We can't discuss that because the HIPAA laws prevent us from discussing what happened there. But we'll tell you about the physically disabled / pregnant Amber Roundtree.
Yeah.
Because apparently now pregnancy is a physical disability.
Evidently.
Which is why the expectant mothers get the closer parking spaces that are right next to the handicap spaces, because it's a physical disability.
Right.
Good Lord. Can we call this what it is? We talk about problems that schools have with bullies. This right here is a prime example of what a bully is. This is just being a bully. You're being a bully. You're trying to impose your will to scare somebody into, you better not cross me, because look what I can do. Well, guess what? It didn't work. She didn't kowtow to you. She went ahead and came to the orientation meeting, escorted by the chief deputy law director, just to ensure that she would be allowed in.
Is it just me, or did she run on the fact that she doesn't work for him, that he
works for the board?
Like
for the board, right.
That's part of... That was part of her persona.
She said no more
her campaign.
No more rubber stamps. No more imposing your will. No more we kowtow to everything that you say and want.
She works for the voters. Yeah. She doesn't work
and in turn
for the person they hire.
And in turn, he works for the board.
Right.
But apparently we've lost that along the way.
Well, I'm saying, like, he should have known what was going to happen.
So how does this all play into what happened the other night at commission? Well, apparently, some people are saying that the fix may have been in, because the person that was put in the interim position, John Fugit, was not who the folks on the commission who are close to McIntyre wanted in. They wanted Rick Staples in. Rick's a nice guy, very accomplished guy in what he did with the folks he helped to get further their education. But we'll look at this coming up after the break. Our number, 865-243-TALK, 243-8255, 7:34 on this Wednesday morning. Off the text box, Sam, where is Tina Needham? People are asking. People are asking questions. Ask Jimmy Mack. He knows all. People are asking questions. What's going on?
Formative experience.
People are beginning to they're beginning to ask questions. I don't want to show any type of impropriety. There needs to not be any impropriety in this. Well, people are asking, where's Tina Needham?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. That's the problem. Can't talk about it. HIPAA.
Tina Needham who?
Hungry HIPAA laws prevent us from discussing it.
Yeah.
Ann says, McIntyre needs to go. He acts like an Eric Holder mini-me. That's lovely.
Interesting. Just the picture in my head.
This picture of a very tiny Eric Holder.
But bald.
Stomping around. You can't come to this.
You can't come down here.
Stop it. Otho says, if I were Roundtree, I'd sue McIntyre if he said one thing about her pregnancy. How's the HIPAA work now?
Oh.
Well, I guess, as we found out from our vaunted superintendent, pregnancy is tantamount to a physical disability. Physically disabled and or pregnant. I guess. It's news to me.
Yeah, I didn't know it was characterized in such a fashion.
Once again, I just want to read that quote once again, because that's such a telling quote. Given the fact that you were out on maternity leave due to physical disability.
Wow.
People
are asking questions.
That's just amazing. So how does Amy Broyles play into this?
That's been my question all morning. You had me on edge. I want to know. Tell me how this ties in.
It is, well, the other night, John Fugit was named interim Board of Education member. And he said, I'm not going to run in November. I just want to be a part of education right now. I want to help get through this. But I'm not going to run for this position when it comes up for election.
Right.
Which means he goes into September, October, November, he's done.
Right. Just 3 months, 90 days.
Probably not even a lot that he can do
right.
in that, you know?
Basically 3...
Not even really 3 months. It's about 2 months and a week.
So it's 6 total meetings?
Maybe.
3 planning sessions and 3 actual meetings? Yeah.
Because when is the vote in November?
Early November.
Yeah.
November 2nd?
7th?
Something like that.
So there you go. I mean, it's very... he's not even going to be on for very long. But here's the thing. League of Women Voters forum that they had. He was the only one, apparently, at the League of Women Voters forum a couple weeks ago, who was mildly at best critical of McIntyre. Okay? He was the only one who was apparently mildly critical of McIntyre. Yes.
Okay.
August 7th.
No, we passed that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I looked up, I saw August 7th.
I wasn't ready yet. I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll find it.
You do that.
I think it's the 7th of
Okay.
November. So.
But everyone else that was at the League of Women Voters Forum at Gresham Middle School kind of waffled on things. They didn't answer questions directly. They used a lot of the buzzwords, team players and things like that. But I guess the couple of the couple of commissioners that are usually in McIntyre's court really wanted Rick Staples. Mr. Staples, a nice enough guy. He's done really good things with his work, helping people further their education. But his background, as we find out, November 4th. There we go. We're right in the middle. You said 7th. I said 2nd. It's the 4th. There you go. November 4th.
That's what I said.
That's what Terry said.
And no one pays attention to you here. It's all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We should pay attention more attention to you. Rick Staples, his background, UT Religious Studies and Sociology. I guess there's been a report that he didn't graduate. Okay?
That's been reported.
So he doesn't have a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big thing.
No?
College degree doesn't mean... That means you completed your college education.
Mm-hmm.
But take it for what it is. John Fugit, Masters of Education, certification for superintendent of schools. He's been a principal and a coach. His major was in secondary education.
Wow.
He's got education in his background.
He's been a principal?
Yeah. People say, well, it's been since the 70s when he actually did. Yeah, but still, he had education in his background. Our superintendent served as a special ed teacher for 8 months in the 80s?
Just one school year.
Or 90s? Late 80s, early 90s.
Something like that.
Huh?
It was right after he got done with his, it was in between, I think, his master's and doctorate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Apparently you don't need a lot of education in your background if you want to move forward in education here in Knox County.
Right.
John Fugit, going to only be in there for the interim. Said he's only going to be there for the interim. A lot of education background. But he was the only one who was mildly critical of the superintendent.
Out of the, 6 people or so? Something like that.
At the League of Women Voters Forum.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the other night when they voted him in, Amy Broyles, who really wanted Rick Staples, made comments to the fact that that Fugit, who won by a 7-4 vote, by the way, he won the interim seat.
It wasn't quite a split vote.
No. Tony Norman, Jeff Owenby, Richard Briggs, R. Larry Smith, Dave Wright, Mike Hammond, Ed Schaus all voted for Fugit. Sam McKenzie, Mike Brown, Brad Anders, Amy Broyles voted for Staples. Okay? Ms. Broyles called the decision a, quote, political vote. Said Fugate had no support in the 2nd District. Even intimated that this was another Black Wednesday. Politics came into play. This was all violation of Sunshine Law. They had this all planned beforehand. This coming from the person who repeatedly has violated the Sunshine Law, apparently at every single turn, every single chance she has had. Every single chance she's had.
And we've cited those kind of things on the show before about not releasing all the minutes of what's going to be talked about.
We didn't cite them. The law director's office looked at them.
That's true, yeah. It's true.
It's been going on for a long time.
Right.
You know?
Well, and it's kind of like, you know, the side that you weren't on voted in a block, yes, but your side voted in a block. It's not like Amy Broyles was the only one who voted for Rick Staples, right?
Well,
3 other people did, too.
3 other people did.
So, and I don't think when she made those allegations she gave any evidence besides the fact that 7 people voted for the person she didn't want to win.
Yeah.
So 4 people voted for the person that you wanted to win. Did you talk to those 3 other people and tell them to vote for Rick Staples?
I have a feeling she probably did. Or at least she told them, hey, this is who I'm going to vote for, and I think this is why he's the best guy.
Yeah. Did politics not play into who she voted for?
I have a feeling,
or did it only play that way because she lost?
I have a feeling, of course, it's because she lost. I have a feeling that the whole reason we wanted to have this one particular person in is because, hey, we know that this guy, we can make sure that he falls into the McIntyre side of the equation. Because now suddenly you have a 9-member board, that's what we started out with, 9-member board, where 5 of the members will not rubber stamp everything that comes down through the superintendent's office. They'll actually stop and take a look and actually look at things closely and work through all the suggestions from the superintendent, as opposed to, what is it? All right, next one, let's go. Somebody needs to redo the ink on my stamp. It's running out. So is that why we had the big meltdown the other night? Was it because, A, you didn't get your person in there that was automatically going to just fall in line with whatever the superintendent said and keep that 5 members on that side? Or was it, and the thing is that, was it just because you lost? I think it's a little mixture of both.
Well, and it's not like it was just sour grapes. Those are serious allegations.
Yeah.
Well, it sure didn't sit well with a lot of the other commissioners.
Well, Terry, and you actually you saw it on television, correct? You saw it. I've only read it in print.
Yeah.
She didn't give any serious she didn't have any proof for those allegations.
I didn't see any. No.
So, and what I'm saying is the only proof she offered was that they voted in a block, basically, and they voted for this one person. So they must have talked about it beforehand. But that
was the insinuation,
right?
Yeah.
Her people all voted in a block.
Yeah.
The people who voted for Rick Staples voted in a block.
Yeah.
So potentially she could be guilty. There's just as much evidence that she could be guilty of what she's accusing the other commissioners of.
Oh, I'm sure she is. I bet you she is. Because you look at her record, I bet you she is. But she hasn't played very fair in the past. She hasn't been one to really take in consideration Sunshine Law in the past, or what is or is not a violation. You know.
But we've also pointed out that Fugate, great resume.
He has a very good
Very qualified.
Yes.
Nobody needed to talk to anybody to know. Like, you could have read those 2 things. Terry could have read those 2 things to me and Mike, and then you could have asked, which one do y'all think are most qualified in separate rooms on a secret ballot? And I bet we would have came up with Fugate,
without
having to talk to each other about it.
You're looking at an interim position. Somebody's going to fill the position for about 2 months. Do you want the guy who doesn't really have any education background, which is fine? I mean, he's helped out the secondary education program for the jail. For the jail.
Yeah, inmates. I mean, what a great thing to do.
He helped them get their education, helped them get their GEDs, helped them get further education.
Further themselves.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to do. And all the kudos in the world to Staples for doing that. But you have an interim position where you guys are only going to be there. He's only going to be there for a couple months, and he's already said, "I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run in November." So, what better way to fill that position than with somebody who has had a past experience in education, and kind of is coming in as almost an emeritus type of position, just to be there to fill the position, to help further things along for the next couple months, and keep that seat, functioning for the next person that comes in. That's what
ideal.
you look for.
It seems more likely that people would not have to talk about it to vote for that person. It seems more likely that you'd have to get together and try to convince people to vote for Staples.
This is why we need to have this guy in. Well, he doesn't really have any background. Yeah, but this is why we need to have him in. Just go ahead and do it.
And how many times, I mean, this is kind of trite, but how many times have you heard of somebody trying to point out something in somebody else that really is something that they did?
Yeah.
Feeling their own guilt and projecting it on other people.
Yeah. But with that in mind, you also have to take the fact that she's calling all this stuff, some sort of collusion, and there was, political, and God forbid politics ever come into play in commission.
It is it's an elected position.
How about that? No. Politics will never come into play.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay.
No. Why? But if anybody is going to know, violation of sunshine laws, collusion, all this stuff, who better to know than somebody who does all that?
An expert.
So you got to take that into consideration.
I do.
Hey.
I do got to take that.
I know what you're doing.
That's part of the equation.
Because I did this last week. Come on. Queen of the hypocrites. We need to get her a big giant crown. Big glowing H right in the middle of it.
Oh.
Really? Seriously?
I'm really sad that I don't have Queen of the Hypocrite music.
Unbelievable.
But I'm going to work on that today.
Just incredible. Incredible. Matt, good morning. You're on the Rude Awakening.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Mike.
Hey.
Good show this morning.
Thank you.
I just like the pot calling the kettle black right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, really, she is the water boy for McIntyre to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like she's just upset because I think those other couple ones were conspiring to get who they wanted in there to be the water boy for McIntyre for a little while, to maybe try to pull a fast one over on us, and it didn't work out in their favor.
Yeah, and I think this is bruised ego coming to play, and the fact that they also know now that, and I'm sure somebody made a panic call that, look, if we lose this seat, then they have a five vote swing right there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Hey, it sounds like to me that they're trying to get some things worked out over there, and I mean it's going slow. But if they ever need to get it worked out, this is either way you want to look at it. I know it's just for a couple months that this fella's in there, but it is a upward move. It is moving toward the right direction. So we just need to tell them that we appreciate them. I think there is a few over there now, guys, that are starting to have the community's best, the best in mind for the community and for these children.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. It's for the kids. It ain't for everybody else. This ain't a political thing. This is for bettering the schools. Yeah. And if we can't see that, and if people can't see that, I mean, it sounds like to me they just want to hand out favors over there for a long time, and now maybe it's coming back to, hey, we've got something that's broke here. Let's try to fix it. That's what I like.
Absolutely.
Hey, good show this morning, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. We appreciate it. My last 2 cents, and then I'll stop. Then I'll just shut up. Because my counsel's told me that I should.
Oh, you're so funny.
Counsel?
I want to tell you all just to shut up.
Thank you. I will in just a moment. Thank you. Knox County Schools should not be a springboard that anybody should use to go to some sort of higher place. Do I think that's what's going on in play here? Sure, I do. I've thought that for a long time. I've held my tongue, but I think for a long time that this is just being used as a springboard to go into something higher, whether it's a state level education spot or a national education spot. And unfortunately, I think the superintendent sees that coming to an end now. Because the focus of this Board of Education and this superintendent's office should be the betterment of education for Knox County's children, period. Anything else is secondary and ancillary. This should be solely about making sure that every child in Knox County has the ability to have the best possible education that can be given to them. That they all have the opportunity to have that education, that they have the best teachers, they have the best resources, they have the best that we can give them. This is not a springboard to something else. To look upon it as such is doing a disservice not only to the people of this community, but to the children of this community, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Those days of rubber stamping and just giving in to everything that you want is coming to an end. The actions taken with Amber Roundtree are the actions of a bully. That's the actions of a bully. And thankfully, she didn't give in to you. This fiasco we saw, this debacle we saw the other night at commission with us, it's just ridiculous. It's like the in clique in high school suddenly realizing they don't have much power anymore. They don't have much power anymore. And they're scrambling to hang on to whatever they've got. Well, thankfully, a little bit of change is happening. And that can lead to a whole lot more change in the near future. And the best thing is, people are finally taking the advantage of becoming part of their school system. They're paying attention to what's going on. They're taking their child's education into focus, saying, hey, you know, we need to make sure that this is, people are holding these people accountable. That when we give this money and it goes to the schools, it really goes to the children. It really goes to the schools. That's just my 2 cents. 7:53. 865-243-TALK, 243-8255.